Visiting an abandoned cottage next to mine didn't end so well. Please enjoy reading this as much as I had sharing it. Let's just say my name is Jenna for the story's sake. I haven't been back to the same place since, and I always share this story with my friends. It has become a favorite, whether they believe me or not. I usually visit my family's cottage up north every summer and on the occasion on July 4th, Thanksgiving, etc. It's a waterfront cottage, facing a lake, surrounded by a dense forest. It's located on a private beach, so you see your neighbor every once in a while. Everyone comes up north around the same time, so it wouldn't be uncommon to have a chat with others, and thus, everyone knows each other and subsequently their business. My cottage sits between two others, one is inhabited quite frequently and one is abandoned. My family and neighbors know that a European family owns it. I just assume that they hold onto the property to maintain some sort of tangible asset in the United States. Back when I was young, around the age of 19, my cousins, brothers and I would get away from our family to smoke weed in the abandoned cottage to avoid any sort of scolding. It was fun, an empty cottage with some furniture that was a time capsule from the 80s. We would peer around and look at the old brown love seat, the dark den, the main living room adjoining the dining area, and the cute little kitchen with old wine glasses laying around. It was resoundingly acknowledged that others have been through the abandoned cottage as well. There were smoked joints on the ground, footprints, old beer bottles with modern labels, and furniture was always moved around from one position to another. However, the cottage was never spruced up, it was never cleaned nor organized. So we knew that the owners weren't coming by, it was random explorers doing the same thing we did. Upon some curious investigation, we saw a basement. We opened the door and saw a staircase that led to a floor that was pure dirt. It looked like a cellar from what I could see. I stood at the top of the stairs looking down and saw exposed brick, nothing particularly interesting. Of course we would freak each other out, saying someone lives down there, that there was a serial killer living there, or there was a corpse collection buried under the dirt floors. So, none of us would go down there with our independent conviction. It would have to have been a dare or a display of bravery. One day, around Thanksgiving, 4 of us went to the abandoned cottage to go smoke some joints and gossip about family. I don't see my cousins much, only during special occasions, so we sat on the tables in the dining area to smoke, chill and chit-chat. Of course, the topic of the basement came up. We laughed and talked about who would go down there, who would most likely survive the serial killer living beneath us, waiting for his next victim to enter his abode. We turned and noticed the basement was unlocked, and this was unusual, since it was always locked. The one occasion where it was unlocked was when we took a look, or one of my brothers would go down there to freak all the girls out and prove his macho, so to speak. We would always lock it afterwards, purely out of the feeling of some sort of reassurance. We chalked it up to other teenagers just like us having visited the cottage before us, and all of us girls made my older brother get up and lock the door. He stood, looked us all up and down, and jokingly said something along the lines of, "You guys are just scared, always get a man to do the scary thing for you." We laughed, but he was the guy. If there was someone down there, he would be the most likely to defend himself. He's a big guy, 210 pounds and 6'5". He took maybe 3 steps before there was a knock. It sounded like a knock on a hollow surface. Considering that this cottage was quite old, I thought that it came from the side of the building. I don't think there's any significant insulation that would prevent an audible knock. I instantly looked at my brother, who looked smug. He said, "You know, if you ask me to do something for you, don't mess with me whilst I'm doing you a favor." I looked around, waiting for one of the two other girls to fess up and mock his masculine courage. It seemed like everyone was resoundingly confused. I guess my brother saw their reactions and did not see mine, and concluded that I was the source of the suspicious knocker since my back was turned to him. Very funny, Jenna. You think you are such a joker, my brother said with a chuckle. I turned to him, and I guess he saw my anxious face as well. I guess he could read me well. I thought that maybe him walking on the old floors unsettled some of the structural integrity of the building. Maybe it was one of our parents messing with us. I didn't think it was from a foreign source. I told him just go and lock the door. He continued walking toward the door, but it opened slightly. He stopped dead in his tracks immediately. We're going now. Screw that door, one of my cousins sternly said. We all got up from sitting on the tables. We gathered our things, including weed, beer bottles, and phones. We quickly ran to the front door, not daring to look back. My brother was the last of the anxious conga line that was created by the bottleneck of the lone exit. I heard significant footsteps coming from the back of the cottage. I thought it was my brother, and I turned back, and I swear to God, I saw a hand opening the basement door. Oh my God! I yelled, there's someone in the damn basement. I managed to shakingly say after running down the stairs that led to the front door. What? Everyone else said. My brother looked back. He held onto the sides of my arms to push me to go faster. Go! We heard a foreign voice say. We ran faster, dropping bottles, pipes, and shoes. We ran so fast that our flip-flops flew off. I knew it wasn't any of us. Not even one of our parents. It was a low, stern voice from afar. My brother was right behind me. We made our escape to our cottage thoroughly flustered and terrified. There was a homeless guy in there. I freaking saw him. My brother, out of breath, managed to say. I guess it was common knowledge that the place was abandoned. I wouldn't neglect the possibility of someone taking refuge in there. I don't know if the guy went into the basement when he heard us coming, then got tired of sitting on the dirt floor, then scared us. I don't know. It's a private beach, so you would have to know of the specific location to be able to understand how to get there, then also know that there's an abandoned property as well. I also know that there are squatters. To offer a further explanation, people share on Reddit that there are certain locations in our area where you could set up camp on a vacant lot and take a day to sit on the quiet beach. But I know that neighboring properties crack down on it pretty quickly and let them know that they can't settle there. I thought that would have been a good explanation. We ran to our parents after proactively hiding our weed stash and told them our story. They called the police, and we watched from afar to see what the heck was going on. I guess the guy left. The police came to us and told us no one was in there, but they let us know to file some sort of report regarding the abandonedness of the cottage. I think there are some sort of laws that demand that the owners should be using the cottage and executing upkeep. None of us really cared for being the Karens of the situation, so we never filed such report. At the end of the day, I understand that some people just want to have assets, whether they're crappy or not. It would suck to lose out on good property in a nice location. I think they might come back one day since our neighbors know of the family. No one else has ever filed a report to my knowledge. I guess the experience didn't shake up my brother too much since he went back and gave me details. He found some dead squirrels and baby raccoons just laying in the living room. He said they looked quite fresh. I think that they died of natural causes, but How do two different species of animals just die in the same place? I asked him if they were mangled or obviously killed in some way, and he said no. He said the baby raccoons had fur. I did some researching and I know that baby raccoons aren't born with fur, so I deduct that they were alive for some time then somehow died in the living room. I don't want to know if something or someone killed them in there. Or maybe killed them in another place and then brought them in there to give some sort of message to any oncoming visitors. I hope it isn't the homeless guy.